not only just stepped in and took minutes, they stepped in and stepped up their game.
1 point lead for the Golden Griffins. Billy Barron's back in, feeds Himes. Almost knocked down another three. Offensive board, Josiah Heath. Washington. That's a long two for Harold Washington, who's now scored 7.
But it was Manhertz that kept that play alive initially. You know, sometimes as an inside guy, if you can't come up with a rebound, it's just as good to tap it and keep it alive for a teammate.
And a 2 run for the Golden Griffins. They're up by 3, 27-24. As we near 4 minutes left, first half. Trey Blue ties it right back up for Vermont.
That's just reading the high ball screen. The defense slid behind and got caught up. And by doing that, Trey Blue at 33% on the season from beyond the three-point line makes him pay. He keeps knocking down those threes. You can't slide behind. You got to get over top of the high ball screen.
Manhertz called for steps. 5 turnovers now for Canisius. And a tie game here in Burlington. First half of the BracketBusters. Trey Blue having a game. 10 points for Vermont. All squared away here on ESPN 3.
Rated M for mature.
Time for today's Twitter question. Which 2013 BracketBusters team is most likely to step up in the NCAA tournament? Akron, Creighton, St. Mary's, Wichita State for really good ones, or maybe Rob, it's somebody else?
Yeah, you could go with E and just go with the field. Certainly Creighton looked like the odds-on favorite early on. They've struggled in the Missouri Valley. As Wichita State, the Shockers find themselves in first place with some good choices on that list.
Canisius out of the MAC, tied for 3rd in their conference. Vermont in 2nd right now in the America East. This will be a foul on Josiah Heath of Canisius. That's his first. Each team now with 5, with 3:25 to go before the half. Look at Jim Barron, first year as Canisius head coach, spent 11 years at Rhode Island. Had a number of 21 seasons, 5 in all, 5 NITs, just couldn't reach the NCAA tournament with the Rams.
And a guy who's rebuilt programs every place he's been, St. Francis, St. Bonnie's, and at URI, and doing the same, just doing it very quickly here at Canisius.
He's been coaching 26 straight years as a head coach. Shot clock at 9 for Vermont. Elbaum working hard. Carissimo in some trouble. Heaves it up. Almost got the bounce. He'll be at the line for a pair.
Chris Manhertz is first. 16
foul on Chris Manhertz, and here is Sandro Carissimo, junior from Westchester County, New York. Went to Iona Prep with Brian Vokel. Carissimo wants to be an investment banker, and he's already applying for some internships.
There you go. He's a guy who was a 2-guard in high school and has made the transition to the point guard extremely well. Guy that has been a winner at all levels. And once he got inserted as the starting point guard, all the Catamounts have done is win basketball games.
He might be the MVP of this program right now, because if not for him, John Becker might not have seen Brian Vokel. Played together at Iona Prep in high school. Barron avoids the hedge from Apfeld. Last touch by Canisius.
And the Golden Griffs took care of the basketball early in that first half. We got to About the 10-minute mark with just 2 turnovers, but since then they've had 4 to up their total to 6. So Jimmy Barron's team's got to get back to taking care of the basketball.
Golden Griffins are 17-10, 10-6 in MAC play. They did struggle a couple of times against slower teams in the MAC. Manhattan and Fairfield. Vermont likes to play a little slower. Right now, Catamounts leading by 2.
A lot of contact both ways.
Vokel going right at Manhertz. And Manhertz called for the contact. His second foul. Vokel to the line.
Well, these two guys, not a lot of times that either one of them matches up against a guy that's got as much upper body strength, but that's an easy one because you see Manhertz putting his chest out to initiate the contact. Both those guys are usually used to bodying up and guys falling down, but both those guys are so big and strong up top. Both undersized power forwards as far as height is concerned, but not as far as upper body strength.
I talked to Mike Managa, the Canisius assistant, before the game. He said, we're going to try Manhertz on Vokel. Got to get him out of his element somehow. Do you see Vokel starting to adjust to that matchup a little bit right now?
Well, right now he's been able to frustrate Manhertz the last couple of possessions as Manhertz sits down here now after picking up another foul. But I think it's worked because certainly Vokel hasn't taken over the basketball game.
I'm sneaking in there. Blocked on the way up. Another chance. Heath couldn't hang on to it. Vermont escapes with the rebound.
Didn't know what to do that close to the basket.
Crowd rising here at Patrick Gym. Vermont 31, Canisius 27 inside of 2 minutes.
And they like the effort that they're seeing from their home team. And now Jim Barron just got teed up. So both coaches with the technical foul here in the first half. When John Becker got it, the crowd wasn't cheering. They're cheering now.
John Becker got his about 3 minutes into this game, not even. Jim Barron, it's taken a little more time for the frustration to finally let itself loose. Apfeld, 86% free throw shooter. He's got one more coming. Vermont now by 6. That matches their largest lead here in the opening half.
If you could read lips, Jim Barron was saying, what'd I do? What'd I do? Now the officials huddling up.
This is what he's done over the last 26 years. Pretty impressive.
Yep, and as we said, rebuilt each of those programs, took St. Francis of PA to their first and only NCAA tournament back in 1991 behind Joe Anderson and Mike Isolino, who's now his director of basketball ops. Right now, the break in the action as the officials are going to the monitor. John Becker had said that there may have been an elbow a couple of plays earlier, and so the officials going to the tape to make sure that it wasn't some type of a flagrant foul.
And since there was no call on the play, if they find there was no elbow, Vermont will be charged with a timeout. We appreciate Bob Adams coming over. Always great when the officials brief us on what they're discussing. And let's take a look at what they're looking for.
Oh, you're going to see inside on this play by Josiah Heath. He's got guys all around him. Pulls the basketball through. Looks like O'Day came through. Pretty hard to tell whether or not there was contact. In years past, that would have been no big deal. But now the NCAA rule, if there is contact to the head, even if it's inadvertent, and clearly that was inadvertent, but if you got a piece of it, it is under the new rules. Now it would be a flagrant foul. But it's hard to tell. O'Day's kind of reaching in and backing up. This is one part where I don't like the new rule interpretation. Here he is getting fouled. He's just clearing the basketball, making a good basketball play. But again, if there is contact up top, it is a flagrant foul.
It's the rule, flagrant one. When it's not a legitimate play on the ball, of course, you come up with the elbow above the shoulders. That initiates everything. And flagrant two, which shouldn't be the case here, that's an automatic ejection.
Yep. What they're looking at is to figure out if it was the third part of that flagrant one, which was an illegal elbow above the shoulders. Again, it's a good, solid, legal basketball play, but the officials have no choice in it. And they take out all discretion with this. If there's contact, it needs to be a flagrant one. And as I said, I think this puts the officials in such a difficult position.
Right.
Again, Josiah Heath got fouled on the play to start off with. He's just swinging through, not looking to go find somebody. And that's why I think you see him talking it over even a little bit more. And you see almost Paul Fea with a little look of disgust on his face that he may have to go make this call, even though it really shouldn't be the right call.
It's a veteran crew here on the East Coast. Paul Fea, Bob Adams, Bill McCarthy, but this is what has become an emphasis throughout the NCAA with head injuries.
And you can understand it from the NCAA standpoint.
Yep.
First thing you got to do is protect your student athletes. So I like the rule. It's just one of those things that right now I think they're saying, hey, look, we may, they don't want to call this as a flagrant one.
Yeah.
But by the rule, I think they need to. Here's the reach in. You don't get the foul initially. There he comes through. And clearly, I thought initially wasn't sure if he got a piece of O'Day, but I think clearly he did. And again, I think it's the right basketball play, but I think they have to call it.
Referees have taken a look at it. And we see Jim Barron's reaction. Bob Adams coming over, and there was just enough contact there for a flagrant one.
And again, you could even, when we were talking to Bob, you can see, they don't want to have to call it there because it really, again, is not a bad basketball play. It's what you teach your guys.
Right.
But by the definition of the rule, the officials did a good job of taking care and applying that rule.
O'Day knocks down the first. Think about this. Feels like we just had an intermission because Jim Barron got that technical. They get the 2 free throws there. One more coming for Ethan O'Day. What was a 4-point lead for Vermont is now 8.
And this is a big momentum switch for Canisius. They had played well throughout this first half. And think about this, Ed. We had such great flow to this game for the first 15 minutes of play. All of a sudden, you looked up, you mentioned, hey, there were only 4 fouls between the two teams. Well, that's come to a grinding halt here in the last couple of minutes. And remember, that favors Vermont. They're the team that wants to grind it out. Canisius is a team that wants to get some offensive flow going.
Apfel nearly got it to go down as he was knocked down. Let's see how Canisius responds. Down by 8 after that long break. Heath battling, but Trey Blue at 6'3" boxes out the 6'9" Heath.
And somebody else takes that, you say maybe that's not a good shot, but with Billy Barron, that is a good shot.
11-0 run for Vermont, including those 4 free throws and the technical and flagrant.
And you see Vocal, he's posting up. You say he's got a size advantage against times. He's just worrying about finding a teammate.
Barron had it knocked away from behind by Apfel. Vocal looking. One more try to Carissimo.
And how about Vocal? He's 3 feet from the basket, never even looks at it. Always trying to find a teammate. You don't see that from any other play.
Washington in the corner buries a key 3 for Canisius to snap the run.
Well, in transition defense, everybody's recovering back into the paint. By the time they figure out who's got who, it's too late. Ball's already out of Washington's hands.
Trey Blue has scored 10 for Vermont, battling as well inside. In his last year of college eligibility, only year at Vermont, he's been a nice boost here this afternoon in the Bracket Busters.
Well, he's got that scorer's mentality, and John Becker said it. He's got a high basketball IQ, and because of that, in his first year, he's been able to pick up all the things that they do, making a ton of big-time plays here in his first half. A couple of great feeds to find his teammates, and then getting himself going offensively in the scoring column as well.
Solid start. 4 of 6 shooting for the native of Chicago.
The Catamounts have cleaned up their turnover woes. Early on, they were throwing it all over the place. Had 7 turnovers early in this game. Haven't turned it over since. One of the other reasons why they've got the 5-point lead.
Something to keep in mind for Canisius. Jordan Heath likely done for the day with the ankle injury. His brother Josiah with 2 fouls. Chris Manhertz with 2 fouls. So the Canisius front line, one's out, the other 2 in some foul trouble. Shot clock off, 10 seconds for Vermont. Rugg by Asprilla, right to the cup, and he got the bounce. And a foul.
Off the high ball screen, Asprilla came out and hedged, did a good job, but then when the ball got back, good recognition here by Rugg that he's got a quickness advantage, able to step right around Asprilla. I don't know where in the world they got the contact on that one. Asprilla was 3 steps behind, nowhere near.
We'll call it a cagey veteran move for the hometown guy, Clancy Rugg.
Well, good move by him to get around him.
Played at Burlington High School. His former high school coach, Matt Johnson, was a star for the Catamounts. He was the 1991 America East Player of the Year for Tom Brennan. 3-point play for Rugg. Final 4 seconds, first half. Washington won't get a shot off. Billy Barron, 5 points on 1 of 4 shooting for Canisius in the opening half, and they're down by 8 at the break. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a closer look at Brian Vokell of Vermont and Tommy Brenton of Stony Brook. 2 talented players in the America East Conference, as well as highlights and stats. Opening 20 minutes of the Bracket Busters here in Vermont. Catamounts hot from 3 early, got the crowd into it, able to chip away against Canisius. That's why the Catamounts lead 38-30 at the break on ESPN 3.